I am 99% certain this is real, and I don't want to believe it, but I know I'm going to check the scene for the episode, and it's going to be there. And it is about to make me crash out. Just, let's look at the scene. So you can see Mizuki going in. Bro. How do we keep getting lower? Dude! Stop it! Just, dude! Dude! Oh my goodness, what the hell? How is this possible? How is this possible? Dude! Like, you can't just keep doing this like that. One time mistake, okay. Second mistake, kind of bad, okay. 3 mistakes, gotta stop. 4 mistakes, there is an inherent issue. Throw this in the freaking dumpster. What is this? No way. No freaking way. No freaking way that this is actually real. In the same episode, these are mistakes that just keep happening. Dude, this is... Okay. Calm. I know you want to crash out. I'm just so frustrated with this. It is actually making me want to crash out super freaking hard right now. You can ignore, like, you might be able to ignore the issues I talked about earlier this week with the whole having 5 to 6 fingers to the 3 opie. You could theoretically ignore that because of the circumstances of the frames. It was only shown for 0.5 seconds. I even talked about this in my video, that inherently it's not that big of a deal if it's just these in-between frames. But this situation is no longer a situation to where it's like a half a second long. This is a prolonged period to where there's an actual error of just seeing a band-aid just disappearing on her face. And once again, I'm going to reiterate this. If this was the only issue with the episode or the season, it would be funny, but people wouldn't care too much. That's just the truth. It would be an easy fix for the Blu-ray DVDs. But the problem is that this is something that systematically is not just happening throughout the entire season of One Punch Man, it's happening in the same freaking episode, within minutes of each other. This, you know what this shows? This gives so much credibility to a few things. Zero quality control. 100%. There is absolutely no quality control. There is no budget, no effort, nothing focused on quality control, going back, looking at the scenes, and fixing issues. And this issue right here is not an issue that is a 0.5 second issue like what I talked about with the 3 opie to the multi-fingers. The issue here is that this is a prolonged frame. You can actually see her talking that lasts for about 2 seconds, which once again is not that long in the grand scheme of things, but it is noticeable. To the common eye, people watching the episode, it is a very obvious mistake. It is not something that is like you can easily not notice because it's a 0.5 second frame. It legit is noticeable. It is a very obvious and noticeable thing. And you have individuals that are sitting at the table when they're overlooking this episode and greenlighting it to be produced or go on air to showcase on live TV or streaming platforms, they have to look at this. They have to actually look at the episode and say this is okay. But the fact that you have so many of these mistakes appearing in this episode showcases nobody went back to correct these problems or even make sure there was problems to begin with. Zero quality control. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. You remember how there was AI allegations? Those allegations are starting to look a little bit more credible with all these mistakes piling up. I would like to also point out, it's not just the band-aid that disappears. The chain teleports mid-frame. Like, look very closely. Soon as the band-aid disappears, the chain teleports. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually starting to believe that there actually might be AI used for Season 3's animation. Because this is, this looks really off. This actually just does not look normal. I mean, once again, it could be an art error, but it does look very odd, especially when you look at all the inconsistencies from the other errors throughout the episode. But the credibility that AI is being used to some shape or form, and they're just not even fixing some of the mistakes or errors with the AI usage, is becoming more credible. Once again, I'm still on the side that supports it's just art errors, but I can see now why there is a growing side that believes that AI is 100% being used. because this is pretty freaking damning. All these mistakes that just keep piling up. And there's other people that are pointing out the way the art kind of transitions and the way certain, like, layers are formatted over each other. It looks very much like an AI was used for some of these scenes, especially with Mizuki. But I want to back up for a second here and just showcase a few things that I think fundamentally makes this just so much worse than it already is. I'm about to get a lot of flack for even showing this one in my video, but I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and I'm not going to act like it doesn't exist and deny that it's not being talked about, because it is. It's heavily being talked about. It's a big topic right now within the One Punch Man community. It's gaining a lot of traction. This post is about to hit 1 million views, but there's other posts that have posted this exact same clip that also has millions of views associated with it of people talking about this exact same topic. And so to give some context here, the bottom of this is the official scene from the episode of One Punch Man Season 3, while the top is, you know, the episode or scene run through with AI. I believe Sora. I could be wrong there, don't quote me on that one. So I'm going to play this clip, and then we're just going to look at the differences between the two, and then we're going to look at what people are actually saying. You can already see just how much more movement is in the top in comparison to the bottom. That was unnecessary, by the way. The AI might be something. The AI is definitely something. It knows what the fans want, so to speak, from Tatsumaki. But continuing on, you can see the night and day difference. I think at this point it's very clear. And so let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna act like it's not true. The AI of this version looks a lot better. I'm gonna be honest. That's my personal takeaway. Disagree with me? Fine. I know there's a lot of people that hate AI. Fair. But I'm not gonna lie. Looking at side-by-side comparison of the actual episode to the AI, I know AI is referenced to be completely soulless and devoid of emotion. I know that's the common thing that people like to say, and fair. But what is this bottom? It feels soulless. It also feels soulless, like no heart was poured into it whatsoever. It feels like it was thrown together, cobbled together with PNGs, lip flaps, and that's about it. It basically is running on a Snickers bar and a can of soda. That's what the budget of the actual episode of One Punch Man Season 3 feels like. And it feels completely soulless. It does. I'm gonna just say it like it is. And looking at the AI, even if you want to say it's soulless as well, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep it real. The top looks better. It does. And I'm not even saying that because of the Tatsumaki leg showing. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying in general, the amount of movement to the flow, even if some things might look a little bit off with the AI animation of it, because it's not perfect. I'm not going to act like it's perfect. But it is definitely, it looks better. And I would think, though, I'm going to say this because obviously it also needs to be said, if the actual scene, the official anime, was animated like a typical anime, this little segment of the AI moving around would not even hold a candle to an actual scene from an anime. Like, it would look completely inferior. But the problem here is, and the fundamental issue, is that One Punch Man Season 3's animation art is just so below the earth, it is so far down, it's reached the trenches of hell itself, that even AI, that can do the bare minimum, looks infinitely better than what we're actually getting with Season 3 of One Punch Man. And this gives another conversation to talk about, which I already mentioned, but the credibility of AI usage of Season 3. So let's go on a limb here, and let's just say that the team is using AI to work on One Punch Man Season 3. They are not doing a good job using AI. I'm just going to be honest, because if this is what someone could do with a brief little AI and all that prompt, what's going on with the official? But that makes me believe that that is actually people drawing it, and that's what it looks like, instead of AI being used for it. But with this bombshell, and a lot of people talking about it, we need to look at what the response is from the community. We even have someone like King of Lightning even mentioning that the AI looks better. King of Lightning, a fellow anime YouTuber, is also saying this. Nicholas as well, been very critical of One Punch Man. Also, basically saying it looks a lot better. I mean, you have a lot of people pretty much mentioning that, Yeah, they're in favor of the AI. And I feel like this shows a really big shift here on just how bad One Punch Man Season 3 actually is in reality. And it doesn't just stop here, because a lot of people have been trying to psyop and say it's just the West that is upset with One Punch Man, and that is a straight up lie. I want to give some evidence here. So this right here is a Japanese account. You can see it, it's originally in Japanese. Here's the translation. Now, obviously, this could be someone being a fake Japanese account. So, let's show credibility of that. So, Twitter did a very nice thing a few days ago. You might have heard about it, because I know Moist Critical, Charlie, he made a video on it. But you can now see where the account was made, where the account is based in. And this account is based in Japan, as you can see here, when it was created, where it was connected for the App Store, so the Japanese App Store. So, it's very clear that this is a Japanese account. You take a look at this post. It has 8 million views. It's a Japanese account. It has 22,000 likes, almost 3K, retweets slash quote retweets, and you scroll down and you see a lot of people not very happy with One Punch Man. They're all speaking in Japanese, as you can see. You can see it right there, translated from Japanese. So this is the Japanese community. This is not the West. This is the Japanese community talking about One Punch Man. So they are very upset with this. And there's a few here. If you look, like for instance, this one talking about how bad One Punch Man Season 3 is, you might think that maybe this is another fake Japanese account. Well, I pulled them up as well. They're also based in Japan and use the Japanese App Store. So a lot of these individuals here are actually real Japanese accounts, people talking in Japanese, legitimately upset with One Punch Man Season 3. So for those that are trying to psyop and say it's just the West upset and are over-exaggerating, don't let them gaslight you. Japan is upset as well. They are not happy with how this season has turned out. It's not good. People find this extremely unacceptable, and it is the lowest quality work that you possibly could give for an anime. And once again, the statement from that animator last week saying that they poured their heart and soul into One Punch Man, I'm just like, even if that is true, if this is your heart and soul into a project, yikes. That's all I'm going to say. You could be upset with my opinion on that. I'm just going to say yikes. I keep it real here. I keep it 100% real on my thoughts here for One Punch Man Season 3. So, to make a long story short, this is an absolute dog shit season that continues to prove it reaches new lows of terrible. That you even have this actually airing in the exact same season. This right here is making waves. This is anime. This is being animated this season, by the way. This is coming out. It's called Wand Dance. I've actually made a video on this. This is also, ironically enough, being made by Studio Madhouse. If One Punch Man Season 3 wasn't coming out this season, it wasn't so bad, this would be the memed show. This would be the show getting crapped on continuously. But the fact that this is out and it looks like this, and you have One Punch Man that's getting all the beating, it really just shows. It's just so ironic and cosmic irony that Madhouse released this. But One Punch Man is getting the flag. And deserved, by the way, but it's just so funny. Sometimes I believe we live in a simulation, man. It's just some things line up too perfectly. I'm going to leave it at that, though. I wanted to talk about this. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I love you guys. Be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.